I'm going to speak in English because I know there's both English and Maltese media. If anyone wants me to speak in Maltese, I will. I was arrested, I was told, because of an article I published about the leader of the opposition. I have no evidence that I was arrested at the Labour Party's request, but it seems to me the logical conclusion that the reason for my arrest was one article I put up at 7 o'clock about the leader of the opposition. Now please tell me who on earth would have an interest in reporting me to the police and asking for my arrest because of an article about the leader of the opposition, if not the leader of the opposition himself or his political party. And another important thing to take note of is that my article went up at 7 o'clock in the evening, and 2.5 hours later, by 9:30, the police were already at my gate with a warrant for my arrest issued by a magistrate within 2.5 hours. Less than 2.5 hours, because it takes them half an hour to get to my house. So within 2 hours of the article being published, they had got a warrant for my arrest and they were at my gate. So my reaction to the police was, oh, this is fantastic, you're very, very efficient. I mean, it's quite obvious that if somebody in the Labour Party went down to the station and yet again found a very helpful polizia laborist, by which I didn't mean the 3 people who actually came for me, who were perfectly civilized and nice, but whoever sent them.
What do you think about the law on the day of silence?
I think the law is absolutely appalling. I said as much in my statement to the police. I'd be very happy to give you a copy, but unfortunately I only have the 1 copy. So there's nowhere I can photocopy it now. But I said as much. I think it's absolutely appalling. It's appalling all round. I can very well understand a law that might stop the political parties from campaigning the day before an election. You can stop the parties from campaigning, yes, that I can see. Even though, I mean, it's really, really pushing it. But it's absolutely appalling in an EU member state, in a democratic country in 2013, that the law should seek to control what people say and what they write. It's appalling. And that was the whole basis of my statement to the police. Now, the law did not envisage the internet. There were a couple of amendments made to try and cover the internet, but really, you all know how the internet works. It is absolutely impossible to control the internet. And my statement to the police said, even if it were technically possible to stop people commenting on Facebook, discussing things on social media, or posting comments on blogs like mine, it would not be desirable, because the only countries that do that kind of thing are countries like China and Iran. You don't expect to be in a new member state and have the police investigating and interrogating people for writing about politics on the internet. It is beyond appalling. It's shocking. And the police cannot understand why I will not abide by the law and sit at home quietly and not write anything about politics. I said, because the world is full of irrational, abusive laws, and if everybody obeyed them, they would never get changed. And the point I made to them is that the law which protects our freedom of expression is constitutionally superior to the law which prevents us from writing stuff about politics on the internet the day before an election. It is superior. There is no way on earth a law like this, if challenged, would survive all the way up to the European Court. It is impossible. How can you prevent people talking?
Il-Pulizija informaw kien inizjattiva tagħhom li arrestawk jew kellha.
Le, arrestawni għaluli rċevew complaint u arrestawni fuq bażi ta' complaint. U mhux ġew ikellmuni kif jagħmlu s-soltu u jgħidulni pereżempju jgħiduli mill-Kwiet għalfejn għamilt hekk, ġew lesti b'mandat tal-arrest.
U x'taħseb fuq il-fatt?
U jien fil-fatt meta fid-9 nofs immaġina bil-lejl jiġu 3 pulizija wara bibek bil-lejl. U jien l-ewwel li sebt li daw se jieħduli l-kompjuter. Għax ma rridux wis biex jieħduli l-kompjuter ġew mandat.
X'tikkumenta fuq il-fatt li ż-żewġ uffiċjali li kienu hawnhekk mhumiex tad-distrett imma wieħed huwa l-kap tal-iskwadra omiċidi u l-ieħor huwa spettur fid-Dipartiment tal-Investigazzjonijiet Kriminali.
Mela, ma kontx naf li ma' dipartiment jaħdmu, issa li għetajli il-Dipartiment tal-Omiċidju qed niskanta ħafna iżjed, dawn ġew mid-depo tal-Furjana, ridu bil-fors jaħduni s-CID depo ta' Furjana U jien domt sija u nofsi f'satejn nirrifjuta li mmur għax għattilhom jekk immur hemmhekk is-CID diġà għandi esperjenza ma nafx jekk se noħroġ u meta se noħroġ għax dawk kapaċi iżommuni hemmhekk bil-lejl biex physical prevention li ma nistax nikteb xejn u jżommuni lejl sħiħ. Allura rifjutajt immur u bħala kompromess għattilhom ħaninżel l-asta tal-Mosta.
Did you ever see this coming?
Well, to be honest, it was your newspaper that alerted me to the fact that it might be coming, because you had an article yesterday that was clearly instigating some form of policing of the situation. I blogged throughout the 2008 election. I did not receive so much as a telephone call from the police or a complaint. Yesterday, the Times ran an article interviewing lawyers about what they think and saying it's not fair that bloggers can carry on blogging and the Times has to stop. Which is, instead of fighting the law, they fought the people. In other words, they approached the story from a completely wrong angle. So you either pull together or you fall apart. But the most important point that I made to the police is that the definition of publication and broadcast, with newspaper print, you publish that day only. With broadcast, you broadcast in that second. There's a broadcast going out. With the internet, whatever's on the internet is permanently published. It's permanent. So basically, whatever I have on my internet site, even if I did not write it today, it is still published today, legally and technically. Even the articles I wrote 5 years ago are published today. And the point I made to the police was, it makes absolutely no difference whether I wrote the article today and uploaded it today, or wrote it and uploaded it yesterday. Because if people visit my blog today, they're going to read it today, and they'll be influenced today. And it's irrelevant when I wrote it. So when the police turned up with this warrant for my arrest, I said, fantastic. I said, when I go down to the depot in Floriana, am I going to find Joseph Muscat also under arrest? And they said, why? I said, well, every time I put on an internet site, I find his adverts, josephmuscat.com, right up until the evening. And as far as I know, he's not been arrested. Also, Labour Party candidates all discussing on Facebook and promoting themselves. But who gets arrested? Me. And the police said, why don't you file a complaint against Joseph Muscat? I said, because my point here is that people should be free to talk about politics on the day before an election. So I'm not going to play tit for tat and file a report against Joseph Muscat. I am objecting to the fact, 2 counts, to the fact that the law is really abusive, and to the fact that somebody within the Labour Party, quite clearly abused of their power, filed a complaint at 7 o'clock and had the police obtain a warrant for my arrest by 9 o'clock. I mean, I told the police, if I had to file a complaint, would you have a warrant for the arrest of the person I complained against within 2 hours? You'd send me flying.